Hello friends, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical bookshelf. And today I have the third video in my Sarah Dessen rereadathon. And at the very end I will be doing a tier ranking of all the books, but so far these are just my collective thoughts on the books by themselves. But in the very last video, I will be talking about how I rank them in like a tier ranking list. But yeah, so today I have this Lullaby, and I read this, oh man, probably a couple weeks ago by now, but I love Sarah Dessen. Her books are always really easy for me to get through because they are so well put together, and the writing is very smooth, and it's really easy for me to get lost in it. So it's very easy for me to just fly through them like it's nothing. And this book was no exception. So this Lullaby has to deal with Remy, and she has just graduated high school. And that is the main catalyst in a lot of Sarah Dessen books. It's either the main female is either still in high school, she's either like a sophomore or a junior, or she has just graduated high school and is about to go to college in the fall. And this book takes place in the summer after Remy graduates. And she's a very interesting character. I really like Remy. I think she's super relatable and a very realistic young female portrayal, because she's trying to find herself, and she feels she's very like type A, I guess would be the best way to say that. She wants to be in control of everything, which is not something that is always very realistic. You can't always be in control of something, and that is Remy's main form of anxiety and consolation throughout the book, is constantly wanting to be in control. And Remy has an interesting family dynamic. Her brother is a few years older than her, I think. If she's 18, he's probably 20, I'm guessing, or 21. It doesn't really explicitly say, I don't think. I'm just making a guess. And her mom has an interesting relationship dynamic, and that's something that has effects on Remy throughout the whole book. Her mom is kind of a serial marriage woman, like a serial dater, but she constantly has a new husband, like they're not married for very long, like a serial marital thing going on. So Remy helps her mom plan her weddings, and she's been doing this since she was like a freshman in high school, I think. And her mom constantly like puts on Remy all of these responsibilities, and she's so good at handling it. That's why her mom does that to her. And her mom is a writer, and her mom is a very successful writer, but she's not very successful in marriages. And Remy is, I don't know, kind of fed up with her mom, I guess, which I don't blame her. I would be too. And she's kind of just like, she doesn't want all these responsibilities anymore. She's really excited to go away to college. I think she got accepted to a prestige college, one of the most prestige ones. I'm trying to think of all the prestige colleges there are. It's either Stanford or Yale or Dartmouth, something like that. I don't remember exactly which college she gets accepted to. It doesn't really matter that much, I guess. It's just a highly regarded college. And Remy is kind of trying to enjoy her last summer before she goes to college, and she is like the complete opposite of her mom. She does not want to be tied down. She doesn't want to be in a steady relationship with someone. She wants to just date someone for like a month or a couple months, I guess, and then she wants to cut them loose. That's Remy's main character arc is that she's basically the opposite of her mom. Where her mom has like steady commitment for a couple years or a couple months and then moves on, Remy's kind of like date and then like break up immediately. And Remy's been doing that for a while. She's someone who is just constantly dating people, going through the motions. She doesn't get too attached to any one guy. And she has this cycle. And she wants to just be scot-free when she goes to college. But, like any good Sarah Dessen novel, the main character's plans kind of get foiled because Remy meets Dexter. And Dexter is kind of like a spaz. That's like the nicest way to put it. He's very like, I don't know how to describe him. He's very energetic and extroverted and outgoing, and don't mind my dog barking. I don't know what she's barking about. But yeah, he's very outgoing and spasmodic, and he reminds me of a dog sort of, because he just has these like, he jumps from one thing to another, and he's very clumsy, and he kind of like collides into Remy's life, which is kind of the whole point I think Sarah was trying to make. And it is very interesting to see their relationship progress, because at first Remy doesn't really like Dexter. And I can understand why. She thinks he's annoying. She thinks he's clingy. She thinks, why is he following me? Why does he want to be with me so bad? Because he asks her out like right away. And Remy's kind of like, nah, I don't really want to. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be like tied down or anything. Because I think Dexter's kind of looking for probably a steady relationship, I guess. But Remy, that's not her bag. That's not really what she wants. But she ends up doing that thing that she does not want. And she ends up falling in love with Dexter. And that's kind of the main point of this book, is that Remy changes her attitude towards love. Because her mom has been married like 4 or 5 times. I think this is the 5th wedding that Remy goes through with her mom. And she's hoping that it is the last. She's hoping that it's the last marriage for her mother, which I guess I don't blame her. I would not want my mom to go through that. I wouldn't want to see my mom going through that, because a lot of the relationships that her mom has been in have not always been that great. Her mom isn't really classically happy. I think the marriages are kind of like a band-aid for what her mom is really feeling on the inside. She kind of just pushes it to the side and becomes whoever this man like needs in the moment. And so that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to see that Remy is so like the opposite of her mom in that way, because she's never really had a steady father figure in her life either. So I think that's also what affects Remy deeply, even though I don't know if she recognizes it all the time. But because her dad wrote her a song when she was a baby, I think, and it's called This Lullaby. That's what the book is named after. It's named after that iconic song that her dad had written. And Remy understandably doesn't like her dad. She doesn't like that he didn't stay with her mom. She doesn't like that he was a musician. She doesn't like that he was just so flippant about everything. That's why I think she's so straight-laced and wants everything by the book, because her dad was so clearly not. And it's also interesting that she ends up with Dexter because she has this strict rule of not wanting to date a musician. And surprise, surprise, Dexter is a musician, and he's in a band, and it's called the Truth Squad. And so she becomes his girlfriend, like, pretty early on in the book, I think. Like, she kind of denies that she wants to be with him at first, and she thinks he's annoying, and it's like a loose enemies to significant others, I guess. But, so yeah, she's with him for a while, and then they kind of break up for a little bit I think in the middle of the book, which was very interesting. And then she starts to do her serial dater thing again. And she goes out with this guy named Paul. I think his name is Paul. And oh yeah, it's definitely Paul because they call him Perfect Paul because he's like everything that Remy wants. He is like a blonde, straight A type of guy, and he doesn't want anything serious. She doesn't want anything serious. But she ends up not being very happy in that relationship with Paul because she misses Dexter. And she realizes that she does want a serious commitment with Dexter, even though she denied it for a long time, which I thought was very interesting. And so we go through that character development with Remy, and she helps her mom get married. She plans the wedding with her, and we see that relationship develop as well, because I don't think her mom wants to get married again. I think that is like the main point of the book, is that we get to see all these character arcs like come full circle. Like her mom ends up with Don, that's the husband in this book, and she wants to make it work this time. She doesn't want to just move on and get divorced. That's not her goal this time, and I don't think that was ever her goal. I think her mom is just really optimistic, and then when things don't work out, she kind of just cuts and runs. And that's kind of how Remy is too. Remy's pessimistic, but she also cuts and runs. And it's just really cool to see Remy's character development, and I really like her and Dexter's relationship. I think their banter is very funny and realistic, and Dexter really grows on you. At first, I thought he was annoying too when he first met Remy, because he was very adamant on being like, you're gonna date me, and all this stuff, and he's just being very arrogant, and I'm just like, dude, if she said no, she said no. But yeah, so I mean, eventually she didn't say no, but still, I think it's kind of annoying when guys are very adamant like that. It's like, take a hint, I guess, but I don't think he meant it in a bad way. I don't think he meant it in like a serious way. I think he was just being jokey with her. But I mean, anyway, yeah. So this book was really good, and it's a very long book. It takes place in like increments of months. So that was kind of, it was more of a harder book for me to get through because of that, because it would be like, the first part takes place in June, I think, and it just goes through all of the, yeah, June, and then that's a really long part, and then it goes through August and July, or July and August, and it's just like, it's a span of like 4 or 5 months. It just feels like a really long book because of that. But it's still really good, and I like the character resolution that we get to, because Remy realizes that she really does like Dexter, and she really does want to make it work, and she doesn't want to just cut and run and not be with anyone. And they end up making the long-distance relationship work, and we really learn a lot about Remy, and I think it's interesting that she ends up being with someone that she never thought she would be with. I think it just goes to show that you don't know what you need until it's right in front of you, and I think Dexter is a really good foil to Remy, because Remy is very straight-laced. She wants things by the book, and Dexter's kind of more loosey-goosey. He's more chill. He's a very go-with-the-flow type of guy, and I just think it's interesting to see them interact with each other. And the relationship felt very realistic, and I also liked how Remy has her group of friends that she spends the summer with. I think that was also a good portrayal of female friendship, because it felt like this was their last hurrah together, and I thought that was interesting to watch them all, what do I want to say? To watch them all go through their own struggles before they start college. Because while Remy was like a serial dater, her friend Lissa was like in love with her high school boyfriend and thought they were going to get married, but then they end up breaking up. And one of the side characters that I thought had the best character development was Lissa, because Lissa starts off after the breakup, she's very mopey, she's very sad. She gets borderline annoying to Remy because she's like, why don't you just get over it and stuff like that, and you're so much better than that, and you excuse me, you can find someone better than that schmuck who broke your heart. And we really see Lissa become a very strong character in the end, which I really thought was cool. And she's kind of the more prominent side character. She's the one who helps Remy realize that she really does like Dexter and she wants to be with him long term. And she's really the one who is more her best. Lissa is more Remy's best friend than her other friends. And I just thought it was cool seeing them interact and grow together. And it just felt like such a pivotal, like the summer before college, it just feels like a very pivotal story point. And I'm really glad that Sarah really brought home that point in the novel. Like, summer is a very pivotal part in someone's life, and I just thought it was really realistic writing that, like, the summer before college type of story, because it was very interesting to read about, and it made me reflect on how I was when I was that age, because I was also very, like, to the book, and I wanted to be in control of everything, but as life goes on, you kind of let go of wanting to control everything, and I really thought it was cool that Remy kind of let go of her straight-laced attitude because of Dexter, and I love watching, like, characters like that grow up and become more mature as the story goes on. It's just really interesting to see. And this book is going to definitely rate highly in my ranking, but it's definitely not one of my favorite books. I rated it a 4-star. And when I first read it, apparently, I rated it a 4-star, so it hasn't changed, thankfully. I thought maybe I would rate it better now that I'm older, but I rated it about the same. But yeah, so it was a really good book. I would totally recommend this. It's a very lighthearted summer romance. That's mostly what Sarah Dessen's books are like. Like, my other 2 videos were on the heavier end of her books, but this Lullaby is definitely classic Sarah Dessen. Classic summer romance. Classic girls' parents aren't really that bad. They're kind of just normal. And it's classic, like, the main character is a very normal girl. She has normal struggles. She's not struggling with something that's super heavy. Like, I feel like the summer before college is such a lighthearted storyline, which is something that I found refreshing when I read it. So I would totally recommend that, and it's definitely a nice book to read when it's cold outside, because it makes you think, eventually it will be summer again. Eventually it will be warm out, because right now it's very cold out, but it's definitely brought warm thoughts to me. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on this Lullaby. Totally recommend. It is a 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And please like and comment. And I would love to hear your thoughts about Sarah Dessen. I would love to hear what you read from her or what you want to read from her. And yeah, just let me know all your thoughts, because I want to talk to you guys. I would love to interact with my people. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, friends!